Um, Welcome. My name is Rachel Freund with the Library of MusicLandria. We're joined here tonight with Buddy Hale, who's the founder of MusicLandria, and a few, Buddy's muted right now. And a few very awesome synth players and electronic musicians and electronic music producers from the area and beyond, who are going to take the time to share their equipment, share their setup, share a little bit about their music and their process. So very excited about this event. So what's MusicLandria, you ask? I'm gonna just introduce MusicLandria real quick. MusicLandria, the Library of MusicLandria, is a nonprofit musical instrument lending library based in Sacramento, California. And our mission is to create community around music, break down barriers to musical exploration, and offer hands-on learning experiences. Our flagship program is our lending library. So it's just like a regular library, except instead of books, our shelves are filled with all sorts of musical instruments that you can check out for free. And right now, because of COVID, we're doing everything by appointment and doing everything online. But we're super happy to be offering some of our regular services to local folks because we feel that music is an extremely important part of a healthy life, and we want to continue to offer that to people. So if you're interested in signing up, if you're not already a member, you can check out our website, musiclandria.com, and you can learn more about it. So this is our first online synth show and tell. The idea is that artists volunteer to meet on Zoom and then give you a streaming video sneak peek into their studios and how they make music. And so the hope is that we'll continue to do these in the future. And so offering an opportunity for music enthusiasts to gather, albeit virtually, and connect around the music they create. And I just have a somewhat kind of sad announcement. We wanted to dedicate this particular event and this evening to a friend who was very dear to MusicLandria. This week we were very saddened to hear about the passing of one of our members and friends, Ezzy Chung. Ezzy was and is and always will be an absolute ray of light to everyone who knew her. Just a very joyous person. She frequented our singing circles, our monthly singing circles, and our Women and Allies music nights. And her presence and her kindness and her compassion just uplifted us whenever she came into the library. So we just learned this week that Ezzy passed away. She was just 24, and sadly she took her own life. So this is a difficult subject to talk about, but we felt that we had to address this. It's weighing heavy on our hearts. And we feel that now is a particularly difficult time for everyone, but especially for musicians who, make their livelihood, but also draw their energy and their spirit from creating music for people and connecting to that community. So we just wanted to open this conversation, dedicate this night to Ezzy because she is an absolute jewel. And keep this conversation open, continue to build a community where musicians and music enthusiasts are helping out other musicians, connecting, checking in. So that's that. And if you're listening, and you or someone you know is experiencing feelings of despair, distress, hopelessness, please just know that you are loved, you are needed in this community. Please stay with us, and that there's always someone who can help you. So I just wanted to share a few numbers that you can call if you or anyone else you know are experiencing these feelings. I'm gonna go grab my whiteboard. Thanks for hanging in there, people. Yeah, so there's a suicide prevention hotline that you can call. The number is 1-800-273-8255. If you're local to Sacramento, there is a wonderful organization called The Effort that is there to help and provide counseling and provide resources and expertise. Their number is 916-368-3111. So, great, thank you. Yeah, you're not alone. You're never alone. Also, if you're watching right now and you have the bandwidth, maybe you can help us continue this conversation and continue to build a supportive community. It can be as easy as just, you know, calling up a friend, checking in, saying hello. And I know that here at MusicLandria, we are dedicated to moving forward and helping build a community where there is plenty of support. Buddy, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to, I think, quickly echo a lot of what you mentioned, Rachel, but also just take a minute to outline how important this is, I think, to all of us here at the Library of MusicLandria. Having gone through this and having lost a friend again is really weighing heavy on me, and I think Rachel as well. We've talked a lot about it in the past couple days, and there's a lot of takeaways and a lot of things that I feel like I'm getting. The message is like hitting me over the head about what kind of work we're doing in the community. It's really giving me pause and forcing me to have a real honest look at what our mission is and what sort of impact we're having on our community. I think it's great to be a library of musical instruments and to provide access to music enthusiasts and to do our best to provide live music services, professional development services, but this has happened too many times, right? I guess maybe I'm at that age where this is piling up. This experience for me personally is just like, I've had enough of this, and I'm really starting to question what kind of work I'm doing in this with my life. And it's giving me a lot of pause. It's giving me a lot of guilt. And I'm having an honest look at how we should potentially pivot our mission to not try to address all the mental health issues that are going into this thing, not try to fix people's depression, but I think we're really in an interesting position to address the community aspect of this. The fact that a lot of people that are feeling like they need to take their own lives are potentially doing that in part due to a lack of community and due to the fact that they feel extremely isolated. So that's where I'm at. And yeah, Rachel said it well. This is, I think, just the beginning of a bigger conversation that I'm hoping we can have with our community to start to explore what sort of impact we can have programmatically and through community building to make sure that this just doesn't happen next week again, right? That I don't have these feelings next week, next month, in a couple months from now, and come to the same conclusion that, man, if I had just made a phone call to this person, if I had just taken 2 minutes out of my day to check in with some of the local music community just to say what's up, or just to check in and see and talk about music. It's a simple little life change, a simple little programmatic change that is really going through my head right now. So let's talk about it, let's think about it, and let's just reach out to the people that we want to make sure stay in our lives.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
Yeah, so Ezzy, we love you and we miss you, and all of the beautiful sounds and fascinating information that we're all going to hear this evening. They're dedicated to you because Ezzy was a great lover of music. And let's see. So I am excited to introduce all of the wonderful artists who have volunteered to take part in tonight's synth show and tell. So we have joining us, virtually from the East Coast, Elena Botts. She isn't actually able to participate live, but I'm going to share a video from Elena in just a bit. And then we'll have Elijah Coronado, previously from Sacramento, now in Southern California, and he's going to be sharing some of his synths. And then I think we'll move on to Joel Braverman, if he's ready. He's joining us. He'll be joining us from the San Jose area. And we have Jasmine Starr from Sacramento, who will be showing us some very unique synthesizers that probably most of you haven't seen before. And then finally, we'll be joined by Lillian Francis from Davis, who is a local electronic music producer. So this is a stellar lineup, and yeah, the idea is just to take a informal little peek into how people make music with a huge variety of synthesizers. So, yeah, this one's for you, Ezzy. So I'm gonna start the evening with the video from Elena. So please bear with me. I'm going to try to share my screen and then play her video for you. And I do have notes on what the video is. She describes it as sound art compositions of organic field recordings, experimental voice, and minimal instrumentation, recorded by a noise and freak folk ensemble tending towards the otherworldly, often paired with other media. And without further ado, here we go. That was Glory. Can you hear me still? That was Glory and Admit by Morning Dove, one of the projects that Elena has started over there on the East Coast. So thank you, Elena, for sharing that. Elena does a weekly Zoom music event. I just heard about this through our local electronic musician friend Chopstick. So I'm definitely going to check that out. We've posted links to Elena's music projects in the Facebook event, and we can post on the YouTube chat as well. And we hope to have her in person, more or less, at future events. So thanks, Elena. And next up, we have Elijah. Elijah, are you ready for us?
Yeah, I'm ready. I can
awesome.
Start.
Also, to any of the viewers out there, real quick, if you have any suggestions on sound or anything like that, let us know in the comments. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry about if you saw my desktop, I apologize. Still learning here. So Elijah, yeah, take it away. What you got for us?
Yeah, so I'm just actually gonna start through with some with my set, and then hopefully, afterwards I have some time and I'll talk about what I used and how I set everything up and have everything sequence. So that's what I have planned.
That sounds great. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me on. This is exciting. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, Eli. Dope, dude.
Thanks. But I guess a quick run through, I guess, of what I am using. So I am mostly hardware that I use, but it's kind of I have a lot of stuff integrated with like a DAW. So I have everything, like the kind of pad sound that I was working with was through MIDI. So I just had it like MIDI sequenced with some live playing. And then this one in particular, this Roland AE-10 is actually one of my favorites. It's just a classic analog monophonic synth from the early 80s. Very kind of straightforward in its way of like subtractive synthesis of you have 3 different waveforms, and you slide them up for volume, and you got, and then you can play around with the frequencies and kind of stuff. And my favorite thing is it's got a built-in sequencer, so you can make a sequence, which I was doing on what I had just played, and I had it sourced. It has pretty much a clock, so it's like sending pretty much pulses from my drum machine over to the sequencer, and playing the sequence. So if I press play on or if I even just load in a new one, just something random, and then play it, and then have the drum machine play. It just has this crazy to run through, but yeah, I don't know. It's a brief run through, and then I have this mini DX100, which is kind of like a little brother of the classic DX7, famous digital 80 synth.
What was that one?
The DX100.
Is that in the middle?
No, I have the middle one's the TR8S, which
Nailed it.
killer drum machine. It's got all the classic Roland kits, and I ended up picking one up because I rented one out from MusicLandria, and I loved them so much. I was like, I need to get one of these. Yeah, and it's funny enough. I guess today's August 8th, which is some people call it 808 Day. So I put in I did a 808 kit for today.
Oh, amazing.
But yeah, it's kind of a brief run through of kind of stuff I was working with. I try to be kind of minimal with the stuff I use and just focus on specific gears at a point in time and see where I can get through that.
It sounded amazing. Can
Sorry,
you
what was
oops,
the one in
sorry.
the back, real quick?
Say it again.
What was the one in the back?
Oh, so this is a Yamaha DX100. It's like a little. It looks like a little mini keyboard, but it's got some great noises. It was like famous too in the mid '80s for a lot of Detroit techno artists used it, and also Roger Zapp used it. It's for a talk box. A lot of people use it, notice it. But they're great. They're great. They're gritty, and they got a lot of and pick them on the go, so you can go to the park and plug in some patches or something.
You said, sorry, you broke up a little. You said
Okay.
It's battery operated?
Yeah, so it is battery operated. So, but it takes as big D size batteries. But I've had it on. I usually just run it off of batteries, and it's been pretty long
No
staying.
kidding.
And like I said, yeah, so you could just take it on the go and some fun synthesis.
Wow.
Wherever.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Take it to the beach.
Mm-hmm. Just hopefully you don't get no sand in it.
Yeah.
No sand.
Put some sand on it.
You know. But yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool.
Any
So
other kind of fun tidbits of info about any of the stuff you use that you want to share, Eli?
Well, I guess we can go on the subject. What I really like about the drum machine, at least, it has a lot of functionality stuff where you can really kind of tweak the tones and stuff. Like, basically, you can kind of record almost like everything on it in a way where, like, I had this noise. It's like I had it motion recorded where it's just playing around with the tuning, but you can record the tuning and have it like play through the sequence, so you can have some more like expressiveness that I really like about it. I guess and then like with the velocity on some of the drums is really fun to kind of just add some more character to it. So like if I had the snares, like I played around with the volume on some of the parts, so it's like a little bit quieter and then louder. It's like just to kind of add some kind of like expression to it. And there's like really cool kind of like built-in effects and stuff. And I don't know, like the whole motion recording on it is like what really gets me. So you can kind of so you can have things just kind of like getting all tuning around and playing around. And also it's like a sampler in a way. You can't sample into it, but you can load in samples. So I've like loaded a bit of actually some stuff from my synthesizers just to kind of free up space. So on one of the tracks I'll have like a bass or something, which is really fun too, which I really like. Just kick a quick run through like a... So you can kind of like do different tunings and get it all like wild and stuff, which is like really fun, which I really like about it. So sometimes I'll like, if there's something I have recorded, like let's say I recorded something onto like Ableton or something and I get stuck on it, I'll load it into here and then play around with it and maybe find some new ideas than I initially had with recording it, which is pretty fun. But yeah, you could do a lot with this. This is like probably like this is like the centerpiece of my gears, the drum machine. Yeah.
Cool. 2 quick comments. Billy Felix is having rice and beans for dinner tonight, not reheated.
Nice.
And he also says that your musical what you just performed was the soundtrack to an upcoming reboot of Gumby, where he had
Nice.
where he and Pokey are hackers in a dystopian cyberpunk future.
Nice. I'm totally for that.
Yeah.
Love Gubby and futurism. It's a great combo.
I really wants your shirt, so just make a note of that too.
Well, I love that description. I think that fits it perfectly.
Cool.
now you have a concept for your next album.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna have to full-fledged take that with me. I like that idea actually a lot.
Yeah, I think you gave us your SoundCloud or Bandcamp links.
There's a SoundCloud link on there. Yeah. I had when I was going to UC Davis, I did a kind of like an improvised live set of just kind of like this and just like a hardware set. And I have that up too as well. It's like a 30-minute set. So yeah, if anyone wants to check it out, it's cool. It's very kind of like Chicago house-esque style when I did that. But yeah.
All right, one more time. What was that last synth that you have in the back called?
Okay. So it's the Yamaha DX100. It's like a little mini synthesizer. It's like the DX7, it's a FM synth, which is like a digital synthesizer. Yeah, they're really cool. They're also they're the same engine as that one. There's the DX21. I mean, if someone's looking for it, there's also the DX21, which is like the bigger full-size key one, and they have the same kind of engine and stuff. It's just like a full-sized key bed instead of the mini one. But they're both really cool. I recommend them both. They're really fun. They got great bass sounds. I usually use them for bass, but for today I used it for a pad sound, which with some effects it gets some pretty nice tones. Cool.
Oh, Buddy asked, is it still live? And he says his computer shut down. So hopefully everybody is still able to watch. I'm still seeing something on YouTube. But if there's a gap in the video, everybody just please stand by and we'll get it back up and running if that's the case.
Yeah, I think it froze for a little bit, but it seems like it's okay now.
Oh my goodness, internet problems. I can't wait until we can all meet in person again, but this is pretty cool. So Elijah, thank you so much for sharing. And if anybody has any more questions, feel free to put those in the live chat and we can ask them at the end of the session. Oh, Sam says, gotta be darker if you want to make a dystopian Gumby. Yeah, that was some pretty upbeat music. Thank you for that. I appreciated it. All right, thank you. So let's see. I can't remember who I said was next. Were we gonna have Joel next? Are you ready, Joel, for us?
Well, I'm probably ready. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm probably ready. But if I was sort of expecting to be on third. But,
right, we had a video for number 1 instead.
That's right.
Let's see. If you would like some extra time, we could see Jazz. Are you ready? It's up to you guys. Anyway, thanks both of you. Thanks all of you for coming.
Well, I think now, if you want.
Okay.
I'm just gonna switch the camera back over to that one up there.
Okay. Yeah.
The mic to the. Everything to the mixer here, so.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll stand by if you need a few extra moments.
Speaker.
So Joel is just and thanks again to Elijah for playing. Yeah, that was amazing. Joel's been a super awesome supporter of the library from, I don't know, just about the beginning, it seems like. And he donated some of his synths to the library. We've got this awesome ARP Odyssey I think it's the Mark II, Mark I, I don't know. It's from the 70s, Mark I. I think that's my absolute all-time favorite synth. I did like a little workshop online about a month back, and I'll probably do one again and just maybe even do a series because it's such a great synth. And the manual for that synthesizer, the original manual from the 70s, is an absolute treasure to read. And it taught me a lot about synthesizers. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, that's just a little bit about Joel, but maybe I'll be quiet so you guys can see his amazing setup right now. And Joel, is your mic working yet? Not quite working.
Eli, do you want to give a shout out to anybody real quick?
Let me see. Hold on.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Feel free to chime in. If any of the performers have any questions for any of the other performers or want to just give a random shout out to someone, feel free to just jump in. We can have this be casual and fun. I want to give a shout out to Chopstick and Denise for helping us get prepared for this. They are awesome.
Pillars of the synth and noise and music community here in Sacramento. Joel, I can hear your instruments.
Can I just confirm that we're still live streaming? I'm worried that since my computer crashed, it went down. We still good? Okay.
I can see something.
I got some thumbs up, so if you're in the chat, maybe let me know if you can still see stuff. Cool.
This is Joel. Switching back to my regular mic. I don't know why my mic isn't working at the moment, but if you want, someone else could go on ahead and I could do a little bit more troubleshooting. That'd be cool with anybody?
Sure, yeah. We've got Jazz or Lillian. Would one of you, Jazz, I think you were on next. Do you want to step up?
Yeah, let me get my headphone on.
Yay! Thanks, everyone.
Testing, testing.
Can hear you. Yes.
You can hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
So am I on now?
Yeah.
You're live.
All right, all right. Well, I got a whole lot of material to cover. This is my very first time to ever stream, so I'm starting to share. It's a good thing for me. It's dedicated to Ezzy, bright and shiny spirit, a soul like you'll rarely meet on this planet, too delicate for the hardships that were put upon her. Here's her boogie she loved. I'm going to put that into something called the Ezzy strut, so that's going to happen.
Awesome.
Okay,
Nice.
I'm going to show a bunch of technology. We're going to do a lot more knowledge, and I'm not going to do a whole lot of playing. I'm just going to be doing a few samples here and there. So it's going to be pretty quick. First of all, I'm always curious about sound. We've got a drum in our ear. Microphone is like a drum. A speaker's like a drum. So we have all these vibrating skin or whatever, and it's transmitting all this sound back and forth. That's the point. There's a lot of mystery going on here. We're picking up subtleties, and now we're getting into the point to where synthesis is available on guitars and also on wind instruments, which is going to be the focus of what I'm talking about. So, you know, we're messing with the harmonics inside of the sound, inside of synthesis. So you've got a lot of notes in one note. We're going to look at the E string. We take a sine wave that's half of that. That note's in there. Take it half again, so it's quarters. That note is in there. Now we make it eighths. And that note's in there. There's 6 notes right there that are that note. So there's a depth and complexity of the notes that the synthesis is actually breaking down. It's multiplying, it's shredding, it's shaping, and that's how the synthesis is working. And what's happened is the guitars and the woodwinds now have synthesis that has sampling and oscillators. Oscillators typically produce the signal. So that's probably enough of an intro. Okay, it's toy time.
Yay!
Yay!
Show us the toys.
It's the toys. So I'm just going to break everything down. I have the tripod now. I have the power. Okay, you can kind of see the lay of the land here. I've got, well, start over here. We've got the matriarch, which is a big keyboard synthesizer. I've got a sampler up here where I can, you know, just hit one of those 9 triggers and I've got a Martin Luther King speech going on, or anything I want. There's no limits here anymore. Okay, and I got some horns, I got a guitar, I think that's Vivian there, some more things going on here. And to break it down, we're going to start with the lower end of the synthesizers for a guitar. So you've got things like this Mothership. It's pretty nice. It's double knobs on all of them. It's got sweep, it's got sounds. And then at the low end here, you've also got an SY1, which is a Boss pedal. And we'll be looking at the SY1000 in a little bit, which is super. These two are going for over $200 each. But they're very suitable for guitars because you just stomp the button after you put in the sound you want and you go with it. This SY1, it's got 11 categories of sounds, and in each category, there's 12 different sounds of that nature. So for a beginner, you know, this is ideal. It's a little bit of an investment, but it's not a lot of fidgeting. Now, they've taken these other synthesizers that don't have keyboards, these fancy, you know, twiddle with a bunch of knobs kind of things, and these two are like, well, there's a $300 Enzo, I think, and every knob has a second knob, but it's not engraved on it. So if you hold down this little button, everything does something else. And now here on the Moutard, this one here is from France. The Enzo's from California. That's pretty cool. And these pedals, they, you know, they're building these in the garages, some of them. So they are charging $300 or $400 for some of them. The Moutard is from France. You've got the 4 different levels here. You've got all sorts of sounds, and this just is too much for me. I can't be working with all this and still be playing the guitar. So this is, you know, I need a buddy who's, you know, wants to do the lab wizard guy and twiddle with the knob. So anyway, these are, you know, half of $1,000. Now for the higher end, you've got these two over here that I'm actually going to demonstrate. That's the one I played a second ago. What you have is about 20 years of Boss putting these things out. You had the 1, the 20, I've got the 33 here, I think it is. And it's got a lot of pre-canned sounds, and you just simply go through the wheel and you've got another sound.
Awesome.
So you can see a lot of the trancey stuff I do. This is very suitable for that. And now at the next level, you've got a newer one. Here, let me get my legs out of the way. This is the SY1000, and it is a monster. It's $1,000. It's only been out about half a year. And let me just tell you that, okay, you can go into controls here. I'm going to go into the system. Now I can pick out controls, settings, all sorts of things. And you've got all the Boss pedals in here. In addition to that, let's go into instruments. So here you can pull all the different instruments out. This particular sound that's dialed up, it's got all 3 oscillators working. And here's some of the other effects you can turn on and off with these buttons. So you have 3 oscillators, plus your original sounds, plus you've got all these effects. And when I sample these, I'm not going to use any reverb on anything today. So this is all straight out of the box. Okay, here's the effects. Now that's monstrous. Here's your 3 oscillators, and you run them down, and here's your effects chain. You can put all the stomp pedals from Boss in these little slots.
That's showing you a virtual pedal board?
It is a pedal board, so $1,000 isn't that much when you're getting 50 pedals, 3 oscillators, and some luscious high-end sounds.
And just just to be clear, you've got your guitar routed into both of these pedals. Both of
Yeah,
these
this is the
synths.
one that's on right now. Okay, let's get to the other bit, because it's taken a while for guitars to get to the synthesizer level because of latency. For years and years and years, you pluck the string and you have to wait for the sound to get through all those circuits. And what they've done is they now have inline processing. So the signal's coming right in, and like a regular synthesizer with an oscillator, it just immediately picks it up and uses it. Okay, this guitar has this attached to it, and this has got...
Jazz, just a second. 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is Rachel. On my end, it looks like your video is frozen.
Uh-oh.
I would just say briefly try stopping your video and then restarting it in Zoom.
We can still hear everything totally fine. It's just
Yep.
the video is froze.
Yep.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
we saw it for a second.
Okay.
There it is.
Yep.
Okay, I'm
You're
gonna
back.
quit wiggling this around. I think that's a problem. My first time, what can I say?
You're doing great. Thank you.
More wiggling.
Okay, you can see the profound levels of functionality with this technology, particularly when you're looking at ambient stuff or synthetic stuff. How am I doing on the time? Oops, I didn't set my alarm.
You're doing good.
Okay, am I halfway?
Yeah.
Darn. Okay, stop. All right, let's go. Okay, now...
I love that you have like a stopwatch going. That's awesome.
So this gadget here is another $200 bit, and what it's doing, it's got its own pickup here, and there is a pickup for every single string. So there's 6 signals coming out of this and going into these boxes, these large $800 and $1,000 boxes, the SY 1000 and the GR, what is it, 35? No, 55. And another thing that's always been hard for guitars is the whammy bar and tracking the sound. The sounds have different characteristics, and you really have to learn to play each one once you glom onto it. Let's see what I've got here. I've got some more sounds. So how do you go about organizing these things in a professional setting? Well, I'd take 400 sounds out of the GR55, and I came out with a list of the top 50 or 60. Then I put them into categories. There's a meditation category, the best sounds, lead sounds, and then there's some that have grooves that are built into them. So I can grab this and work with it. So I find this a template cheat sheet is invaluable. And I make little notes because I'm looking for little performance bits. You know, I'm just not looking for weird sounds all the time.
Aww. Sounds
I didn't
great.
see that coming. What do you mean? I didn't see that either. Okay.
Woo.
Okay, all of you in the back, come on forward. Okay. Okay, and that's a VT3. It's a Roland voice synthesizer. So I thought I'd throw that in since that's not a keyboard. Well, I didn't really have a lot of time for grooves, so I'm going to step over to the woodwinds a little bit now and get that going. What they've done with the woodwinds, back in the old days, back 25 years ago, they had the woodwind that had the keys and the mouthpiece, but it's only putting out a MIDI signal. So you had an external synthesizer. Now, about 20 years ago, Akai came out with this revolutionary instrument. And it's a EWI, electronic wind instrument. It's got 8 octaves. So most instruments have 2.5 octaves, or 3. It's got controls. You can go in and do all sorts of things you couldn't do before. And it's very sturdy and heavy duty.
What did you say it was? The octaves were on roller skates, I think?
Yeah, they're round. It's really psychedelic to play that thing a lot of times. And then along comes Roland, who's been doing this for 60 or 70 years or however. And they come out with an aerophone. I looked that up in the dictionary, and aerophone means wind instrument. So that was kind of stupid. So I have this, and I have my favorite sounds on the back of it. Here, let's turn this on. So what you have with this aerophone is, and also with a lot of these other modern wind instruments, is they've sampled everything. Each instrument in here is playing a sample plus synthesis plus reverb plus effects. So I'm going to start with a little bit of ethnic sounds. I like ethnic. And that's one thing horn players have been waiting for, are those little ornaments around every note. And every culture has different ornaments in different places and different scales. We're kind of stuck with a tempered scale here where every half step is equal length, and the harmonic series isn't like that. So here, let's go a little bit more. Here's a shakuhachi. So we've got nuance here. I can change the controls that my intensity of my breath is controlling. How much the lip bite is. There's this glorious little button here. Oops, I turned it off. That goes 4 ways. On a saxophone, your thumb never does anything. But here you've got 4 CC codes, MIDI control codes. And these control codes allow you to growl on a saxophone or to have portissimo or glide or slide, whatever you want to call it. You can put in chords. So I can play a major chord if I push it this way and a minor chord if I push it this way. And that gives you a whole complexion that you never even conceived of for a wind instrument. Here, let me put that one on with some sound. So that's kind of cute. And I think, if you look at the value of current pedals, I think the looper is the pedal that gives you everything you ever wanted. Because you can play something into the looper and then play over the top of it. Let's see if we got... Okay, hoisted on my own petard. Okay, I don't think I can get this up to the screen. Yeah, I can. So this is a pedal that goes with my looper. So if I'm playing, whoops, I got to tell it I'm going to do that. So I'm recording that right now. Not very interesting. Okay, and then there, see, it's coming back. So I'm recording that right now. See, I'm recording it right now. Not very interesting. Of course it's not. Okay, and then
To start.
I agree with this person. There, see, it's coming back. So I'm recording that right now. See, I'm recording it right now. Not very interesting. Of course it's not. Okay, and then I agree with this person. There, see, it's coming back. So I'm recording that right now. See? Not very interesting. Okay, and then I agree with this person. So I'm recording that right now. See? Okay, cut that out. Stop that. Okay.
Amazing.
So anyway, you kind of get the gist of it, that we've got the complexity of the way you behave on an instrument now being reflected within the synthesis. So this is pulling samples and oscillator signals and changing them, and the synthesizer is inside of here.
Yeah, we had some
Crazy.
We had some astounded comments on the live chat asking if, so this is a breath controlled instrument. So we're thinking that maybe it takes quite a bit of skill as a woodwind player to be able to play this aerophone, right? Or
That's a good question, because you can control how much wind it takes. It doesn't take much wind at all.
okay.
I can actually circular breathe, which is pulling air in and exhausting your jaws while you're inhaling. So it doesn't take a lot, and you've got the variety of the sounds. So this is just really exquisite.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it's got a lot of different instruments you might not normally hear.
Yo,
Little saxophone on top of that
that's super cool.
doesn't hurt anybody. It's a little bit more of a synthy bass.
Real quick, Jazz, how do you switch the sound? Is there a button on the wind flute that you can switch patches?
Yeah, it's a little more crude than the guitar ones. So you see, you've only got these 3 buttons here
Oh, got it.
to push this and select edit stuff. But for sounds, you basically just hold this button here down
Gotcha.
and go up and down with these.
Okay, here's a really weird question. What happens if you're playing it, but you hold down the advanced sound button? Does it jump through all the sounds and kind of make like jump through them, or does it? What happens?
I don't think there's an advanced sound button.
Or like if you hold down the go to next sound button, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think you have to give it a new burst for it to get that new trigger.
Got it.
So
Okay.
you can't zip through them. I've never tried it. It'd be here. No, it's just a computer being confused.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, here's a crowd pleaser. Huh?
Tato, yeah.
Cute as a button.
So cute.
I think Lillian liked that one.
The scat. And Jazz, we can't, we're not seeing your finger work too. So I think
Oh.
that's what's causing some people to like have disbelief that this is actually possible. So
These are just stickers here. These are buttons.
nice.
Yeah,
And see,
game
I've
over.
got the octaves back here. So here in the middle, and you go up and down 2 octaves. So it's only 5 octaves, whereas the Iwi has 8. So
Oh, only 5 octaves. Only 5 octaves. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Okay.
oh, it's a hoot.
If anyone in the live stream can sing 5 octaves, let us know.
Yes, please.
Not many, no.
Guys, I have a question for you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Jazz, how do you know how to play this? Like, were you trained in wood instruments or did you just learn on this?
No, I grew up on sax and then flute and then guitar, and then I got into all the eccentric stuff. But I
Well-
love the instruments of the world, so ethnic instruments are just really nice because they're not right on the half step. They're untempered. So they're more in harmony with the real harmonics.
Very cool.
So I play a little bit with the mini ha-has, and this is my favorite sound for them. It's a muted trumpet. And I kind of do a syncopated thing with them, trying to get that voodoo offset step kind of thing with it. Throw them out of their bodies while they're partying. I guess that's a bass trumpet. I don't know.
It's all of the trumpets.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Jasmine, we had a question from Jasmine Z on the chat, and she asks whether you have a ney flute, Ney. It's off topic, she said.
I think I did, but I don't think I do.
What kind of a flute is that, Jasmine Zorlu?
Isn't that Irish or Scottish?
Oh, I can Google it.
Google help.
The cello is actually prettier than that. Yeah, so I'm just clicking through them. Get something interesting here. Hey, there's a muted trumpet. Oh, sorry. Oboe's not bad.
Awesome.
You don't know when you're going to do a medieval score, you never know it. Oh, here's
Sure.
that sweet cello. You're going to love this. I mean, they're like 98% the instrument because they don't have the resonance of the body of the instrument. And I don't know if you can model that into the behaviors of the samples. But they get better every year.
So,
Roland is such an amazing company. Let me just do a commercial here. I bought this with 28 sounds. A year later, they gave me 128 for free.
Nice. Thanks,
Total
Roland.
software upgrade.
What
Killer
sweethearts.
ethnic instruments in here. Nowhere else. Well, East West, you can get that on software. But once again, you're playing a keyboard or something in the computer, and I'm not getting the touch of the woodwind. So it's a great day for this technology. We've really come a long way. And I've actually seen bands with the iwi, and some famous sax players have taken some of these things on.
Awesome. And we had folks asking about your recordings, but there aren't any online right now, is that right? But you're working on it?
I've got about a dozen albums I've done, but I've never exposed them to the world.
All
Probably
right.
5 of them are really good.
The world
Some of
is
them are
waiting.
jams, a lot of 2-people jams, a lot of synth, a lot of horns. And now I'm doing this big heavy stuff. Did a thing the other day, and it sounded a lot like, I thought it was a Blade Runner thing, and then it just got so evil, it was beyond Blade Runner. I don't know if you...
That sounds awesome.
Beyond
if
Blade
I got
Runner.
time to play a snippet of that.
Yeah, the chat is demanding your music links. So there you go. Time to release something.
Think about it.
Yeah, let us help if you want.
Absolutely.
Okay, well...
How are we doing on time?
Jasmine, I think, is that what you had for us, or?
Well,
Any
here's
last-
something I started working on. I just play you a little snippet of it. I got a
Sure.
choppy guitar synthesizer starting it here. Let me turn on the tracks. See if this works well here. Okay, so this is just guitar here. Okay, play it, play it.
Jasmine Zorlu says, thanks so much for the education, Jazz.
Well, this is getting funky now. I've got too many wires in the house, so I think it's a good time to wrap it up, unless there's any more questions.
Yeah, well, if you can find it, and we can, yeah, we should totally post some of your music online. Now's the time.
Yeah, I think if people want to get in touch, they can get in touch, and they can be the beginning of a new movement.
Nice.
Because I'm going to make it happen. I'm out and about now. I haven't played except with mini ha-has in the last 10 years.
That's right. Yeah, you can look up Mini Ha-Ha's music online. Are you on any? Oh, you can look up the videos. There's some Mini Ha-Ha's videos on YouTube that Jasmine plays in. So that's a good place to start.
Yeah, but I'm going to get it going. I really am. It's time to share.
Indeed. Well, thank you for sharing tonight. That was a real treat.
Thank you so much. And take
Blessings.
care.
You too. And we were having some mic difficulties with Joel, but I think Joel is online now. So, Joel, how's it looking on your end?
Well, let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There's a bit of echo there, but I can't do anything about that at the moment.
I like the echo. It sounds a little bit quiet too on our end. Can you turn it up?
Probably. Yeah. Check. How's that? Any louder?
It's getting a little better. Could you maybe keep going up a little bit?
How about that one?
One more test real quick, Joel.
One more test. I know there's some distortion that's actually coming from the box I'm running the mic through. It's this old harmony processor from way back. But yeah. So let's see.
Yeah, that sounds very good.
How about these sounds? How loud are these? quiet or loud? Mid?
Perfect, I think.
Okay.
I'd say up a little bit, but
Oh,
it's just me. I'm punk rock.
I'll try and bring it up in a bit, but first I'm gonna switch this thing and I'll start rolling, and then I'll check in with you guys. Okay?
nice.
Great.
All right.
That is an amazing setup, I just want to say.
Okay. Well, so what I got here, unfortunately, the camera's like up here, but let's see. So essentially, what do I have here on the left, over on this side is a bunch of Moog gear. I really got to stop this echo, huh? How about now? There we go. No echo.
Yes.
Better? All right.
Perfect. Good. Not as epic, but it still works.
Yeah. So, so on the left we got all these Moog. The one at the top is the original subharmonicon, not the one that you get in stores right now. Had I gone to the Moog Fest and built one, I could have, but I didn't build that one. I bought it from somebody who had built it at Moog Fest.
Sorry, Joel, you're really quiet on my
really
end.
Quiet? Okay, how about now?
That's way better.
Okay, so subharmonicon is the one up at the top left here. I'm not sure if my view pertains to your view exactly the same way, but
yes.
Okay, here we go. Up here, subharmonicon. It's a Moog machine that was built at Moog Fest, but not by me. I didn't go to that Moog. In fact, I haven't been to a Moog Fest, but I bought it from somebody, and it's a kind of unique, weird machine. They're now available in stores. A much different version of it is now available in stores as of like a month or so ago. But this is the original one. It's quirkier, but I think it does some things the new one doesn't. And
awesome.
New one does a lot of things. That hey, that's a cat. A new one does some things that this one doesn't. So, and then this is the Moog DFAM. It's a drum synthesizer, makes percussive noises. A Moog Mother 32. I use it for bass sounds. And this one's also from Moog Fest. I didn't go to this Moog Fest either, but that was because I injured my knee, and I did pay for this one. I basically had somebody went to Moog Fest on my behalf and built it and sent it to me. So, yeah. So and then all this stuff over here, these are Behringer synthesizers. They're clones of original ones. I don't know. Hopefully, you can still hear me. They're clones of the original Behringer. They're clones by Behringer of original synthesizers. So, most of these synthesizers are worth several $1,000s now, but these versions are clones. They're about $300 a piece. And I had some of these original synthesizers. I sold them back in 2001, 2002 for about $300. So I couldn't buy them again for $300, but I can buy the Behringer clones of them. So this is a Cat Octave. It's a very cool little monophonic synth. This is a clone of the very expensive Moog Model D and a Pro 1. I had a Pro 1. And these are just a bunch of they're all analog synthesizers. In fact, everything over here except for this yellow one, this is kind of hybrid analog digital, but these are all, they each can make one note. Each can play one note at a time. They're all, and some of them maybe you can squeeze two out of it, but it's more designed for one. And then over here I got a couple digital synthesizers. They're fairly recent. There's a Peak, which is a hybrid digital analog. Very nice sounding, possibly the best overall sounding instrument I think you can get at the moment is a Peak. It's my opinion. In terms of, it may not have the grit that everything else has, but it's really got something special. And I think I have that's just one patch I have on the Peak. And this is also a very recent synthesizer. It's a Hydra synthesizer, Hydra synth. it's also it's 100% digital, and it's got a bunch of unique sound making and distorting features, which I really haven't had much time to get into. But it's an interesting sounding instrument, and let's see. I hope you don't mind my just going over all these things instead of just playing them right away.
It's amazing. It's a lot to cover.
Okay, let's see.
So I have a question first off, though, because I'm kind of a newbie myself. So what is that device you're using to, does it control all of the synthesizers there at the bottom that you were playing on? Yep.
That is a sequencer. It's a, what is this brand? I think it's made by Philips or Pioneer, one of those old Japanese brands. It's called the Torres Squid, and it's basically it's sort of like a modern player piano in some ways, but it's interactive. It's like a modern player piano. You can create sounds, you can edit music, but you can do it in real time. So you're not stuck like having a roll punch and then having it play back. You can actually kind of create the sequence. You can do it. It's for live. It's a performance sequencer, so you can create melodies and harmonies and do it all live. And currently, it's controlling 3 instruments here. It's controlling the peak, the hydrosynth, and this Rare Waves Grendel. The Rare Waves Grendel is it's kind of a voice synthesizer. Like it's got a sort of model of the human vocal tract. So you essentially can make weird voice noises with it, you know. That's probably not a good example, but my hand's got a microphone in it, so I can't make too many changes. This is my latest thing I acquired recently. It's a harmony. It's what I'm actually running the mic through. Probably if I sang in a sustained tone, you'd probably hear chords, which hopefully you'd hear chords. Maybe not. Let's see. What's wrong with my harmony here? But you know, hopefully once we start sending it some notes, it'll wake up. And you probably see a couple of the microphones here. One is they're both for vocoders. This Moog is sort of a sort of weird Moog vocoder, experimental vocoder. And this one goes to a Behringer vocoder, which is a clone of something that Roland made. And those are devices. Vocoders are very interesting because they essentially take one sound and they map another sound on top of them. So, and they were originally intended for secret communications across, international communication. So it was actually a cryptography device that became a musical instrument. So vocoder is a very, very cool thing.
Amazing. I didn't know that. Thank you.
And you probably know the vocoder from the robot voice sound you hear like in everything. Like if you remember the old Battlestar Galactica from the 70s, or 80s, it was the Cylons. They had that robot voice. That was a vocoder. Was it Herbie Hancock's Rocket? That's got vocoder all over it. In fact, Herbie Hancock is like a musical pioneer of the vocoder in terms of jazz. Anyway, well, let me see if I can get some music going here, and wish me luck.
It's good luck, but you won't need it. This is absolutely amazing, Joel. Thank you. And it sounds like you're in the camp of pro vocoders. Would that be correct?
I'm more of like it's one of my sort of nerdy interests. No, if I was like one of these like super vocoder people, I would go out and buy. There's like this new Moog vocoder. It's like $8,000, but that's like a lot of money for one thing that does one thing. Well, you could do a lot with it, but it's all. So I'd rather try all these weird little cheap experimental things, and have make interesting sounds with those.
Very nice. Yeah, I like the focus on like the Behringer gear, because that is, you know, more or less affordable for more people, making all that awesome technology sort of accessible. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and let me talk a little bit further about some of these other boxes on this table here, because there's like a lot of boxes here, obviously, right? There's these things with keyboards on them. So I have a lot of sequencers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sequencers here, and some of these machines have sequencers built into them. But the thing about sequencers is that nobody makes a perfect one. They all have like things you wish worked better, and things don't do it you need. So I keep buying them in the hopes that the next one will be like the ultimate sequencer. This thing here is pretty close. It's pretty good. This is the KeyStep Pro. It's pretty new. It's got some bugs, but it's pretty close to what I would like, and it's easy to figure out how to use, as opposed to this one over here that I was playing on. That you really have to read the manual. You have to read the manual of that one, but this one, reading the manual is like you have to read it very carefully. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to prime this Moog. So.
Yes.
Okay, so now theoretically everything should be ready to start like doing its thing once I hit play. Over here, all these things are linked together either by MIDI or by a clock signal. I had to try a bunch of different things to get it all to work the way I wanted, and even now, but mostly it's working the way I want it. So here we go. That's a good sign, right? Of course, I forgot to actually program the pattern I wanted into that. That's the Moog you're hearing there. So I'm going to stop that and just do a little quick programming here. So we just go.
So we can't see the oh.
And whatever I just did didn't work.
That's the subharmonica on your.
No, so this is the Moog Mother 32. You can't see past me.
Yeah, nope. There we go. Right on. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So Mother 32. Let's see. Record mode should be. There we go. So. All right. Let's. Okay. So that's a little programmed in a little melody there, bass line, and let's set it up for playback here.
Woo!
All right. So hope all that came out okay.
Amazing. Okay, buddy. There we go.
That was dope.
No,
Again.
Right. Well, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Hopefully that worked out. You guys hear any of that pretty well?
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounded great.
Loud and clear. That was amazing.
Not everything worked. I was surprised some things that were working last time I touched this, which was yesterday evening. Had it all set up. We're like, I can't hear anything, but oh well. I worked around it.
Ooh, what parts didn't work?
Well, like this vocoder over here. I don't know why I'm not hearing it. It looks like it's sending signal, and I can see the signal there, but I'm just not hearing now. Right now, the thing's down, but let's see, because they have a string sound on it too. Yeah, there were just a few things, a couple of synthesizers that were somehow too quiet. I don't know why. Yeah, basically this one, that one, and that one are all like super quiet. Everything else was working, but yeah. So
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think one thing that I've noticed is like as a challenge with this virtual setup stuff is sound, right? Like it's kind of unprecedented to not have a live sound person to like troubleshoot some of this stuff. So yeah, I'm thinking about that a lot. Somebody should probably start a virtual concert sound business or something, because
it's a good idea. You know, yeah, it's actually a great idea. There's a startup opportunity here.
No, but especially with a setup like yours, I'm like, wow, it must be really hard to mix all that.
Nah, I mean, usually that's what I normally do is I just like, I set up, I kind of like get the levels and I like, kind of like what Elijah was doing, basically just get it set up and then I set it up, I do it live. Most of the tracks I've recorded, I think, not most of them, but a good number of them are done that way. That's the way I've been working since probably 2017 is pretty much just working that way, like trying to record everything live. I want to say live to disc, but nobody uses discs anymore. You know what? You guys are looking at the back of my head.
I wish people use discs more.
Yeah. So I want to say live to disc, but nobody uses discs anymore. It's all solid state. So this mixer here is that I got is essentially it says 24 tracks, but it's 22 tracks recorded to SD card, and the 23rd and 24th track are actually a stereo mix of everything. So whatever your performance, if I was recording it, which I wasn't, my performance would have been recorded as a stereo track, and then I could say, then if I like that, I could just take that, and I wouldn't have to mix it again.
Wow.
But I also would have the other recording of every other track on there. And they make like a 12 track and a 16 track version of that thing too. So
which model is it?
This one's a Tascam model 24, but they have a model 12 and a model 16. Awesome. So and the main difference is the number of tracks it'll record and how many microphone inputs it's got. So this one has 16 microphone, plug jacks, and it's got 22 quarter-inch jacks. It's an either-or situation. You can't use them simultaneously. And then you get like and 4 of them are stereo, so you got 4 stereo inputs, and the rest are mono. And yeah, it's definitely like a great at home, especially if you're a nerd like me who has all this, all this gear and likes to mess around with it. You can never have too many inputs, right? If you especially want to do everything live. If you want to do like if you're if you're creating music and you just want to make like, if you're doing songs, if you're a songwriter or a producer, you probably want a laptop. You want to record multi-tracks. You probably want to then chop everything up and edit it afterwards and all that. But if you just like to do like just live electronic music, techno or industrial or whatever type of music you're into. I realize that techno and industrial music are kind of 1990s things, but that's but
No,
but that's me, right? I'm like 80s, 90s kind of guy. So
it's
yeah.
here to stay.
Yeah.
So Joel, just to let you know, the comment section was going bonkers with people dancing around their rooms and
Really?
totally moving
Oh,
to
cool.
your session. And one person asked, how long does it take to set all that up?
It would probably take, if I had to do this from scratch, it would probably take me 4 hours, maybe less, if because I've been doing it for a long time, and I keep having to tear things apart and put them back together again for either because I want to try something different or like I had all this stuff in my, like everything here was in my studio before this whole thing happened, so. And it was all connected, and so I brought it all home. And each time I was like dissatisfied, I tried a different thing, and finally got it set up the way I wanted. So, yeah, I like these devices. These things are very straightforward. Each knob does one thing, and you don't have to do any mess with menus and things like that. These instruments over here kind of not like that. They have a lot of menus and whatever, but the more modern digital ones, not the analog ones, the digital ones have digital issues. They're you have to kind of dive into them and yeah.
Awesome. Cool. If anyone else has any questions, post them in the comments. I'll pass them on to Joel.
Yeah. And SoundCloud.com/jbrave.
Oh, tight. Yeah, I'll post that in the comments now. Cool. Yeah, that was awesome, Joel. Thanks for playing, dude.
And
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I do have a new track I'm going to be releasing on my Bandcamp, which is Joel Brave, bandcamp.com/JoelBrave, I think. I'm new to, I haven't put it up there yet, but we'll be up there.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
And we'll share it. Thank you so much. That was absolutely amazing. Wow. Yeah, I could listen to a lot more of that for sure.
Same here.
And do you ever like take it on the road, like on the back of a truck or like a bike trailer or something?
I've done a few gigs here and there. There was a gig up in Oakland I did, was it the end of last year? So there's this thing that was happening, something vibrations. I forget what the heck the name of it was, but they like first Sunday of every month, they have this thing in Oakland. And so me and a friend of mine went up there with just a few pieces of gear. Like, so I had like a bass synthesizer called the Zox Box. It's like a clone of a TB-303. And I had a drum machine, like an old Roland AE-10, the little blue and gray one. And I had a little keyboard with four voices so I could play chords. And my friend brought his big old Prophet synthesizer with him, and
wow.
And we just he just played his keyboard and I did my thing, and we had a great time. It was very, very simple, and that's the cool thing is like especially like what Elijah did. He created like this great thing with like 3 pieces of gear, right? So you really, for performances, that's probably 3 or 4 pieces of gear, if you can make that, if you can pare down what you're trying to do to that, that's pretty good for hauling it like out of town and back.
Yep, I reckon.
Joel, do you want to give any shout outs to anybody?
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know if anybody I know is watching, but let's see. Shout out to my friend Joe Marishige. He's got an album he just finished recording, and I couldn't tell you off the top of my head where to find his music, but his name is pronounced the way it's spelled, the way it sounds, Morishege, Morishige. So yeah, he just did a album of acoustic rock and music with a friend of his. I think it's called Kelp Monkey is the name of his band. Um, yeah, because he's a surfer. And let's see. I have a friend up in Burlingame, and I don't know if he's watching, but Vibe Aeon. He does this electronic music. He's got a record called a label called Cyborg Recordings, and they have a bunch of interesting music he puts out. Um, friends of his and stuff. I'm not on his label, but I'm not quite ready for a label at the moment. I don't think, at least, yeah. I'm not sure what I want. I'm gonna just try and do
We
it.
think you are.
Yeah, man, make it happen.
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Also, Joel, if you want to type the any links to your shout out friends link project pages or whatever, put them in the Zoom comments, and I'll share them on the YouTube comment thing.
Okay, should I put it in the chat too? Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Oh, here's one you guys should know about is our memory echo.
Cool. Also, if anyone in the YouTube comments wants to collaborate with anyone who's performed tonight so far, let me know in the comments and I'll connect y'all after the event. I'm just going to volunteer everybody for collaborations amongst each other. Sorry.
I was muted. Sam says y'all are way too talented, by the way. Okay, maybe one more question, and then we should move on to our final artist, Lillian. So one last question is a pretty neat question I like from Coco. She says, what's a good bare bones setup you'd suggest for someone starting out and wanting to play live?
Ooh. Well, a drum machine, some kind of bass synthesizer. The Mother 32 is a really good place to start. Behringer makes a cheaper clone version of the Mother 32, but I'm not sure that I personally like the way it sounds. Yeah, drum machines. I mean, I tend to like the old ones. A lot of people like samples. The Volca sample is probably a great place to start for most modern people starting out. Keyboards, Korg Minilog, I think is a great little. It's a little four note keyboard, and if it basically has a sequencer built into it, so you can sequence chords, and it's got a few nice features, and really a good place to start with synthesis. Yeah. So yeah, drum machine.
Awesome.
Yeah, Volca sample is probably a really good drum machine to start with, and you could probably like literally use a Volca sample to do like a whole performance by yourself, because you could have your drum samples and your vocal samples and your melodies. You can do everything with it if samples are your thing.
Cool. And those are affordable synthesizers as well,
Yeah,
right?
the Volca is extremely affordable. They're like $150. Well, depends on the person, obviously, but $150 is I think about what a Volca will cost. They make a bunch of little ones. I've got this little one over here. This is a Volca kick. It's just a kick drum machine. Let me see if I can hold it up here. Yeah, the Volca kick. This is literally just makes kick drum sounds, but you can get it to make all kinds of weird percussive clave type sounds as well, which is mainly what I use it for. I don't actually use this for kick drum sounds. I use it for what claves are, little wooden things people.
Yeah.
That's what I use. I use it for that kind of sound.
Awesome.
And yeah.
The Volca clave just didn't have the same ring to it, I guess, so they called it a kick. Well, thanks, Joel. Yeah, and if there's any other questions, I think there were other questions and comments. Maybe we can just connect people offline via the comments on the Facebook event page.
Okay.
Oh, and we've got your SoundCloud. Great, thank you.
Coco says, Thanks. I was feverishly taking notes.
Oh yeah, I think this is gonna live on our YouTube, the
Yep.
MusicLandria's
Yeah,
YouTube
you can replay
page.
it after the fact.
Yep. Put it on loop.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks, Joel, so much.
Thanks, Joel.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Certainly.
Lillian, are you ready for us?
I sure am. Hi, friends.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Lillian.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you to everyone who has gone before me. I have been shook this entire time. I'm so impressed by people. We're gonna take a different direction. We're gonna go inside the box now. I don't do a lot of hardware synth stuff except for when I come to the MusicLandria and I poke around. So I'm going to show you guys how I make my instruments in Ableton Live. So without further ado, Rachel, can you enable screen sharing for me?
I'm sorry, I thought I did that already, but please stand by, everyone. I'm so embarrassed. Thanks for your patience.
That was my bad.
Lillian.
I pinned your video I pinned your video, so maybe that was it.
You should be able to now.
All right, can people see? Let's see. Live share. All right, friends, are we in Ableton Live now?
Yes.
Yeah. Fabulous. Cool. Well, welcome, guys. This is my production software, Ableton. Yeah, I'm just going to be taking you guys through my favorite part about Ableton, one of my favorite parts, which is making instruments with simpler and sampler. So we're going to start out right now. I'm going to record just a little voice blip, and we're going to see how we can turn that into its own instrument. So that's something I recorded earlier. Let's stop all clips. All right. We're going to record a little vocal. There we go. All right, so now we just have a little vocal sample clip. First thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to drag this clip into its own MIDI channel, which should be created when I drag it. Nope, just create an audio channel. All right, we're dragging it into a MIDI slot here in my MIDI track. Drop an instrument or a sample here. Bam. All right, guys, now Ableton automatically creates a simpler for me. This is a really powerful instrument. So what I can do is drag this little start loop here to the beginning of my sample, and now I'm going to be playing my keyboard, and I can play my little voice there. So the first thing I do is I'm going to drag in a tuner because, yeah, that wasn't a pitch that we were, we're in this MIDI track. All right. Yeah, I wasn't going for E flat 40 cents off right now. So I'm going to open this control tabs here and I can detune it. So we're going to detune it down. There we go. That's a little better. What we can do is turn on the loop mode here, drag in this end marker, and we can find a spot where my voice isn't wavering so much in tune. There we go. So now we have this in tune. But what I want to do is, right now I'm playing C on my keyboard, but this is playing E flat. So what we can do is go over to my controls and I can transpose it down. So there we go. Now we have it transposed to C. So now as I play on my keyboard, which you guys can't see because you're looking at my screen, you can play like that. I can play a little C chord. All right, so I'm going to take you guys through some of the capabilities of this beautiful machine. We're going to start on classic mode right here. So you can change the gain of your sample. You can change the start marker if you want. This is the same as pulling this in. You can change the loop, make it bigger or smaller. You can change the length here, and then we can also change the fade. So I think we have to, no, we don't warp it. Sorry, I gotta pull in the length to change the fade. Honestly, sometimes I understand why the fade doesn't work, and other times I don't understand why the fade doesn't work. Why isn't my thing? Oh, there we go. It's because of the loop. All right, so now I can make like a more seamless transition and make it more sound like one note, right? So maybe make it a little smaller. Okay, I like that. So anyways, you can mess around with this a lot. It doesn't really matter too much. All right, so then let's go down here. You can see that we have a filter built into Simpler. So we have filter on right now. You can change the frequency, change the resonance. Ta-da! This changes the slope of the filter, and then you have different circuit types that you can work with here. Now we also have an ADSR parameter envelope here, so you can change the attack, which is the time that the that's needed for the initial level to reach its peak level. So if I bring the attack way out like this, you'll see that it took 1.5 seconds. And then you can also, bring it back down. Let's do it like something like that. And then you can change the decay, which is how long it takes to get to the sustain, which is the volume that is sustained at. So anyways, you can fuck with that however you want, but I'm going to keep it kind of up like that. Change the release to be a little bit out. All right, now let's go into the controls right now. And I'm going to show you guys, one, you can actually see the filter here, whereas on this tab, you couldn't really see it. But here we can see the filter. You can fuck with it like that. And then we have an LFO, or low frequency oscillator, right here. And we can modulate our volume, our pitch, our pan, and our filter. So let's check this out. If we got playing a chord here, right, we modulate the volume, pitch. Okay. A little roller coaster there. Change the pan. So it's bopping back and forth. And then the filter. And of course, we can change it to, say, the LFO rate mode, which syncs up to our metronome. So we can do like stuff like that. Okay, so that's our LFO. We are chilling on that. We're going to move on to our amplitude envelope, which tells the sample how loud to play and when. So this is just a visual representation of what we were doing down here. But we've got a cool other little parameters we can fuck with. Something I like a lot is the glide. So say I put the portamento, which allows for polyphonic pitch tracking, you could say. So now when I play, oh no, I need this to be way out. Now when I play, oh, I don't want my LFO on, that's too much right now. See how it like glides from one to the other? It doesn't actually glide. That's what glide is for, and that's more for monophonic or just playing one note. But anyways, we've got the portamento, and watch this. I was fucking around with this earlier today. If I change this to like 3 seconds or something, let's see if it'll do this for me right now. Yeah. Okay, so what I just did there is I played a chord, and actually I want to bring my, I don't want to stand all the way up here. But I want to show you guys, I'm going to play a chord here. And all of the notes slide into each other like buttery butter.
Right on.
All making a sweet, sweet chord. Isn't that dope? I'm just thinking about like starting a song just like this. Just like hit them with the kick and the snare. It's gonna be some hot stuff.
That's really
all right.
Because it sounds like some of the notes are descending into their resolution and others are ascending.
Right.
Some are going up and some are going down into like their final note. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I think what happens when you play them at the same time is that like the bottom one glides up to the top one, and the top one glides down to the bottom one. And then when you play them all at the same time, they're just all like, whoa, where are we going? So anyways, that's some fun shit.
Right on.
All right, so this is like simpler at its core, but we have a couple other modes here. We have like one-shot mode, which is more for like drum samples, and we're not going to get into that today, but I really do want to show you guys the slice mode. So I'm going to pull in a different sample into here. I'm going to pull a long ass sample. I want you guys to help me decide what song. I'm just going to bring a full song in here. So I'm going to list some artists, and whoever in the chat says they want one of them first, then I'll do it. All right. We have Amy Winehouse, Anderson .Paak, Andre Nicotina, Andrew Bird, Angus and Julia Stone, Arctic Monkeys, Attaboy, Ashanti, Avett Brothers, Avril Lavigne, Baby Bash, Bahamas. Do you guys want to pick anything? Beatles? What should I do? We got lots of Beatles. Oh my God.
I'll let you know when someone chimes in on the comments.
Yeah, someone chime in on the comments. What do you want? Beyonce, Black Eyed Peas, Blind Pilot. I'm just going through my iTunes.
Lillian Francis.
Do you want Lillian Francis?
Yeah.
All right, I'll pull in one of my own songs. Okay. Let's see how many of my songs I have in my iTunes. Oh, you know what I do? I always buy my music on iTunes because it comes with all the metadata and like the ISRC code. And then we're chilling. All right, I'm going to do this.
We've got David Bowie. We've got Baby Bash.
Oh my gosh. I'm choosing my own song already. I'm pulling it in. I already have it pulled up here. All right, so I'm going to pull in my full song here. It's going to take a minute to load. This is off my album Moonrise Queendom, which I released 2 months ago. It is on Spotify. Thank you so much, Rachel. I will definitely be posting the link in the comments. But all right, y'all, check this the fuck out. So we're going to take the sample of Pídelo. We're going to drag it in here. We got a big ass sample. Am I right? Now that we're in slice mode, zoom in here, and it has created all these little slices at the transient, which is where the audio signal starts. So we can loosen the sensitivity and kind of pull it out so it's more distributed across the song. But now when I play, those are all the different samples I'm looking at. So I can do a cool, just like fuck around. And find all these cool samples that I can then use to mess around with. So there are really, really cool things that we can do with the warp mode here. So I can warp it, which allows us to stretch it in time, I guess you could say. And we can either like speed it up. Or we can slow it way the fuck down. So there's so much mining gold. If you're ever feeling uninspired, you can just drag a whole song in here and fuck with it. Another really cool thing about this is you can, let's slice it instead by like beat. And let's make our division, let's make it start over here when there's actually something happening. And what we can do is right click and do slice to drum rack. And what it's going to do is create a nice little drum rack for us. And then we have everything here. And I like to just like fuck around and just play samples wherever the fuck I want, you know? And then see how it plays. All right, let's try this out. All right, that doesn't sound good. It doesn't always sound good, guys. That's fine.
That's a start.
What would probably be better is having longer slices, but that's cool. Let's see. Yeah. Anyways, it does provide an endless air of opportunity. Actually, if I put this into door. Yeah, I know where that's from. Yeah. So anyways, there's lots of room for fucking around here. I'm going to bring back my sampler, or we're just going to create a new one. Yeah, any questions while I'm just fucking around over here?
Yeah, I got one. When you create a drum rack,
Yeah.
can you trigger them with some sort of physical controller, or do you have to?
So actually, I have my Ableton Push right here, so I'm controlling it from my from the sequencer on my push.
The push, awesome, cool.
Yeah, you can definitely for sure do that. It also map onto keys, so like I'm playing this. Now I'm playing it with just my keyboard on my computer.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Like a fun.
Yeah. Anything else before I show you guys the sampler real quick?
I mean, I'm bursting with questions because I've never really seen much Ableton before, so this is
welcome.
super neat.
Ableton is free.
Is it a free software or?
So you can download Ableton Lite for free, and I think it's either indefinite or 30 days, but you can't save stuff. Ableton Live Suite 10, which is what I have, is kind of pricey. It's like $900, but I do want to point out that if you're a student, you get an educational discount of 40%, and
Awesome.
also it comes with 2 licenses, so you could share it with someone who's a student, and it would be like $250 each.
That's so cool. And is that like a one-time charge as opposed to like Pro Tools or something where you're paying every month or?
Whoa, I did not know Pro Tools was every month. Is that thing?
Oh, am I making that up? Sorry, Pro Tools.
No, I don't know, but
it's every year.
Every year, okay.
I think it's like $250 a year for the like base level thing. Well, it depends on there's probably a cheaper tier as well, but that's like, if you want to record 32 tracks or more, then you need 32 tracks at once. That's Pro Tools is $250. I didn't pay it this year.
Oh dear.
That's Rachel. It's a one-time thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Lillian, can you show your push real quick? Somebody was curious what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, $100. Can I get off share? Stop share. All right, now it's just Lillian. So I'm Ableton Push. This is Ableton's like. It's being plugged in over here. It's like from both directions. This is the Ableton Push. It's awesome. Basically, I can do everything, all of my music production just using this. It's a drum sequencer, a sampler. It's very sleek, and it's completely compatible with my Ableton Live. So everything I'm doing inside of my computer, I look down and it's being reflected for me.
Luba, what do you think of that? She'll comment, I think, in a second. But I'm pretty sure Luba's going to be stoked on that.
Yeah, I think this is Luba's cup of tea. The slicing is so cool. Man, how many thousands of hours has it taken you to learn this?
Oh, wait, which one? The Ableton or
Ableton, yeah.
Oh, Ableton, lots of thousands of hours. I've been producing for about 5 years.
Wow. And sorry, I'm too questiony right now, but I can't help it. So it seems like what you were showing us before was really cool in that you were like showing some of the basic elements of sound synthesis. So did you learn that kind of thing on Ableton, or did you start on hardware synths?
I started on Ableton.
Awesome.
Yeah, right from the beginning. So everything I know is in relation to the software, basically.
Neat. Thanks. I think that's all I have for now.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, there's one small little thing that I actually do want to share with you guys. Just one more feature of the Simpler, if you guys will indulge me.
Oh, please, please.
Okay, great. Let's open up live again here. I'm going to share it with y'all. And we I just made a new sampler here. So this doesn't have, oops, no, I'm gonna bring that back in here. So this doesn't have any of the edits we had, like the tuning or anything, but we can see it'll work just fine. Let's do a little bit of fade here. All right, we got a good little sound here. A very cool other thing that Simpler does is it turns into its sister device, Sampler, very fast. So Simpler to Sampler right here. And I'm gonna hit that, and we're gonna swap over into a different VST, which you'll see we just open up a bunch of tabs up here. A couple of my favorite things about Sampler, which I guess I'll show you now, is it has this Zones tab where I can create a multi-sampled instrument. So you know how if you play just a C on the piano down low and then you play a C very high, it's not just a transposition of octaves, it's also a change in timbre and a lot of other characteristics. So in order to create an instrument that really sounds like that instrument, instead of just like in Simpler when we were transposing it up and down, this one you can say, I want to play this sample at, for example, I only want to play this sample on this octave right here. And then we have a different set of, for this sample, I want to play it here. And for this sample, I want to play it here. And that way you can create really interesting multi-sampled, interesting and also very like realistic multi-sampled instruments. And you can also change or like map the velocity as well. So you can say, okay, if I hit it this hard, play this note. So you'd have a sample of like a plunking key here. And then if I play it this hard, I want you to play this note. And then you'd have a sample of like a lighter key here. And then really soft, in this velocity range, I want you to play this. And it's just like a little tap. So really endless creative possibilities here. And then just something else really cool about this, besides the zones, is like, what did I want to do here? Oh, just like the filter envelope. Did I fuck around with this in the other one? I don't really remember. But what you can do is adjust. Here we go. Am I on here? I think I switched to zone. So now it's not playing. That's right. Very tricky. All right, cool. So not only do we have the filter here that we can fuck with, but we can also change the envelope to the filter. So we can tell it how we want it to open up, how we want it to act, how we want to go back to normal, everything like that. So. And back down. And then you can also have an envelope for the volume and for the pitch and a bunch of stuff. But anyways, this is a very wild and deep set of plugins, and they make making instruments very interesting. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Wow. Yes, Liba said she loved seeing the Ableton techniques.
My pledge. Oh, and Coco, you asked what's a good place to start. I would say Ableton. Ableton's so fun, and you can do so much shit. And I think it's a little bit less intimidating than a software synth or than a hardware synth. Like I was looking at Joel's setup and I was like, oh my Lord, help. Dear Jesus. But Ableton can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be.
See, that's how I look at Ableton. I'm like, oh my God.
So fun.
I'm in the middle. I use hardware and Ableton.
That's a good place to be. I would love to use more hardware. I haven't been to MusicLandria yet this year, this quarantine, and I'm really excited to pick it up and do some sampling. I want to rent out the synths so I can come home, do a bunch of sound design stuff to record, and then fuck with it in Simpler and Sampler and just get some cool shit happening.
Do you have any updates on your own music stuff? Any other updates, Lillian? Want to share with folks?
Yeah, I released, let's see, I've been releasing around the full moon. So 2 full moons ago, 3 full moons ago, I released my music video for my song Rain Check Summer.
Cool.
Which is really funny. The song goes, "It was a rain check summer. Let's hang out soon, never. I think I got your number and I won't use it ever." And I wrote it like 2 years ago, and I released it right at the start of quarantine. And just like day by day, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. Did I just predict the pandemic?" I'm so sorry, guys. This is like maybe because of me.
Like
Uh,
my
I was like, yeah, might be y'all. Damn. And then 2 months ago, for that full moon, I released my album, Moonrise Queendom. And then a month ago, I released a music video for my song Pass on You. And then this next full moon, I am doing 2 projects. I'm doing a music video for my song Falling Without. And if anybody knows of a big white like warehouse space, I'm looking for like a big open space. I've been looking into Beatnik Studio, so that's on the top contender. But if
Dude,
anybody has any ideas,
Super XX Ranch, if you're down to go to Joshua Tree.
Really?
Favorite warehouses of all time. Rachel's friend. Amazing warehouse. It's not 100% white, but it's all silver, so it's close, but it's amazing.
That's very cool. I will look that up. Thank you.
Yeah, Rachel. I'm sure you can connect them.
Yes. Clara Auditorium in Sacramento is like a giant white auditorium space, like just a big white room.
Cool.
Yep. Super XX Rooms is better.
I will write those down. And then another thing I'm going to be doing either this full moon or the next full moon is I'm actually starting I'm going to be teaching Ableton Live to like very small groups of online learners. I'm trying to do just females or non-binary folks because I know so many female identifying musicians that sing and play instruments and do a shit ton of music, but don't know how to produce, and it can be a big constraint to like have someone else produce for you, and it's almost always men producing. So having like all your music have to be filtered through men, like sucks, and that's kind of why I learned it for myself. But anyways, I'm going to be doing 6 weeks like beginner master classes to just get people in Ableton and learning. So if anybody here watching is a beginner and wants to learn Ableton, hit me up and I'll let you know when I start this class.
That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that, for real.
Yeah, 100%. It's great.
Love that. I'm happy to share that to our MusicLandria page too, Lillian. So let's be in touch about that. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, let's do it.
That's cool.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This has been so fun to share.
Likewise.
Thank you. That was rad.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Lillian. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Elijah. Thanks, Jazz. Yeah. Thanks, Selena from afar.
Thanks, Buddy and Rachel, for inviting us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a real treat, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's no other performers, right? Womp womp. Yeah, maybe before we head out, I just want to, say, hopefully we'll continue to do these. So if anyone watching or any of the performers, if you have people that you think we should reach out to for a future one, let's make that happen. This was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super inspired by everyone. Y'all are really sick. All y'all.
Yeah, it was great performances from everyone. It was really fun to see because everyone pretty much had a different kind of setup and approach to how they make music. So that was really cool to watch.
Any final shout outs from any of the performers?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to Aubrey and Lilith. Awesome people. Love them to bits.
Awesome.
Thank
Rachel,
you.
got any?
Oh, that was my little clip. Sorry.
What was your little clip?
That was my little guitar clip I couldn't find earlier.
Oh, nice. You got it. No, I just want to thank all of you for being here and everybody listening and participating on the chat. I think this is awesome, and I hope that we could keep it up because it's really important that we continue to get together around music, even though we can't be together necessarily in person. So yeah, thanks for coming tonight, you guys. Yeah, we can continue to field comments and such on the Facebook event as well. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yay.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you, too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Buddy,
Yes,
any
I have
final?
It's on me, right? I need to stop the live.
Yeah. Good night, everyone. Be safe. Take care of one another.
While I figure out how to stop a live stream. If anyone else has any final comments, feel free to shoot them in now, because I'm going to be trying to figure out how to stop a live stream.
I could stop the meeting on my end too. Thanks, everyone. Love y'all.
Thank you.